You know what was crazy? What I was thinking about? Yeah, like we've seen each other go from children to men, from children to grown men. Like that is the thing that blows my mind. Honestly, like desde morrillos, güey. That shit crazy.
I think it's even crazier because it doesn't feel that long, but yeah, it's already been when you go back and it's like it's already
Pues
been.
lo que nos dijo el viejito the other day at the restaurant. Enjoy your youth because it's not
Oh
gonna
yeah,
last.
yeah, it's not gonna last.
Yeah,
You
but
only have so much of it.
not so long ago we were fucking hanging out right there by Vista Village. I tell Allison all the time. I tell Allison all the time. I go, hey,
That's like the most memorable spot too, because like now, before like all the shit that they have over there in Vista Village is like
yeah,
completely different than what it was back
yeah, dude. With the fucking video that fucking Moco slapped my dick the other day. Allison dropped me off. He, yeah, it's like Allison, they were like, hey, we're gonna get there at 8. That was just fucking 7, way. Lo que me acuerdo, güey, it's like if it was yesterday, güey. It's gonna sound like kind of gay, right? But it's like if it was yesterday. Yo me acuerdo que I got there early to my class, güey, y tú entraste to Miss Child's class.
Oh, uh-huh.
Was it 7th grade? No?
Yeah,
Yeah, 7th
yeah,
grade, y tú entraste. I was fucking ELD. We were both there, güey. ¿Cómo me acuerdo de esa madre, güey? You just came in, entraste, and I was all into, like, como te digo siempre, I was all into DC shoes, güey.
Mhm.
And I saw your ass, I was like, my DC shoes are better. What are we wearing? What are we wearing in that picture, dude? I mean, no, I was wearing Vans.
I don't know, probably something from Ross.
No
If I had to take a
mames.
guess, definitely doesn't look like.
Oh, I'm wearing some blue and black Vans I used to have.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm wearing though. Definitely isn't DC though. Probably it's just something from fucking Ross.
En wardrobe, güey, Ross. Hasta ahora que ya me casé, güey, ya me he visto mejor, güey. This outfit, I also put it together. No, not me. You think I'm fucking put myself together like this, man? Look, look at, look at my bum. Not even tucked in shirt, güey. At least you got your shirt tucked in. You don't know, güey.
For him, I was like, I was always growing up playing the games and keeping up with the selección at the time. So I was like, I already knew. I was like, damn, like this is someone like that I would play as in the FIFA games and like seeing on TV to all of a sudden, oh, you get to meet him in person for the first time was actually pretty surreal.
No mames, like, dude, and I still, fuck, let me bring it. The frame is not, it doesn't fit, but just to conserve it, I was in desperation
Oh,
to conserve his autograph. I still have it. Neta, güey.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Y tal lo tengo, güey. Yeah, fucking. It's all dusty. It was like in a box, but just to conserve his signature, right there.
That's actually crazy that you still have that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I keep a lot of stuff like that. Like all this stuff that I have here in front. I mean, it's like stuff that, like over the years, without thinking twice, I got it. Pues ahí está, güey. I was like, I'm gonna use it for something one day. Y mira, I used to have more, pero
You sold them or what?
pinche Canela, Canela, ven. I know, she's
She's
chilling right
already
now. She's
sleeping.
chilling.
Yeah.
So never mind, I'm gonna get her all excited. But the little video, I mean, the little video, no man, the little dog in the video.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and the little dog in the video that I uploaded, the little one, the little white one, when she was a fucking puppy, maybe from like we got her when she was like a month old. Way. She was a month old, and she fit, or 6 weeks old, and she fit like she was smaller than my hand. She was tiny, tiny, like she didn't look real. She a little piece of shit. Y las hermanas de mi esposa se la regalaron a Allison. And she was $800. $800. She was $800, right? And she destroyed most of them. But damn. I love her, dude. I love her. When I went through my head injury, she was there with me the whole time. She would cuddle with me. Dude, she's a great dog. She's a great dog. So that's like I got very like close to her because of that. Like before that, yeah, fucking at each other's throats. She just, dude, I had a collection of New Era hats and she destroyed it. Yeah,
Damn.
so I don't even get New Era hats anymore.
No.
I'm like, nah, just the work hats, way. Yeah. I'm like, nah, it's. On top of that, like, fuck it, way. Later on.
Okay. Yeah, and look at her now,
Yeah.
sleeping on top of the couch.
Ya, güey. Bro, pero, ¿sabes? Una etapa que no me gustó para nada, güey, de nosotros dos, güey. Fue high school, güey. Pues, hubo momentos en high school que estuvo chingón. Pero en high school we both kind of like went our separate ways. ¿No crees?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there was reasons for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like,
was like,
yeah, like like you were, like, and it wasn't like a bad thing or anything, you know? Like, it wasn't bad. Like, outside of school, we'd still be chilling, like,
Yeah.
fucking, like brothers, you know? Like, así, güey. But in la escuela, güey, you'd go, like, for lunch, and
right,
food,
yeah.
like, it's not like we completely, like, stopped talking or anything.
Right, exactly. It's not
Like-
like we're like ignoring each other. Or anything
No,
like
no,
that,
no.
Yeah.
Era pues like a true friendship, you know? Like, you know, like a true friendship, like, oh, I get it, you're over there con tus compas y yo acá con los míos,
Yeah.
echamos desmadre in a different way. Y pues ya afterwards, hey, you want to hang out? Ah, ya andamos haciendo nuestras cosas, güey.
Yeah, because even like in the mornings before school, we'd probably wake up hella early just to go to fucking Jack in the Box and go get food
Dude,
before the school,
always.
or we'd always go to Stater Wars just go get some snacks
Uh-huh.
or some shit for the school day.
Yeah,
And
I
then
remember
afterwards, same
that.
thing too. I was like, oh, either we're going Jack or you could get something right there because it's like the
Exactly.
only thing that was like right there by the school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, well, fuck it, like, yeah, let's go get breakfast
Mhm.
or let's go get something after school and let's go chill for there for a bit before we go home.
See, and we'd always meet up 7:30 right there in front of the
Exactly.
subway.
Yeah.
Ya, si no llegaban by 7:40, ya nos
just fucking
íbamos,
dip,
ya.
Yeah,
Si no nos alcanzábamos free breakfast.
Right,
güey.
exactly.
Porque a veces no había dinero para comprar Jack, güey. Ah, cabrón.
That's the thing, that school had too many good stuff. I was like, if you didn't have, like, pretty much if you didn't have money, you weren't gonna eat because, like, there was always the Jack in the Box that was there, and then you had the Stater Bros that everybody was always going there to buy drinks and snacks, and then at school too, they always had they had like a little store where you could buy chips, drinks,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, they had like the little cafe thing where they would sell pizzas and croissants that you could just buy there. At the time, I think they were like $5 each, so it's like affordable, and everybody was always buying something. Like, if you weren't buying it outside of school, you were buying it at school.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The pinche cafe, the sandwiches for their bomb, huh?
Yeah.
What was the calzones? Let's see the calzones.
Oh yeah, those
Remember
ones,
the calzones?
those ones are crazy as
Those
well.
estaban chingones, güey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, vergas, qué memoria, güey. Oh, dude.
And then you had and then you had the fucking what was it, the special ed class, making pancakes every Friday too, and like for you to get a pancake, they had a fucking competition.
I forgot about that shit. No.
Yeah,
That's out of pocket, dude.
yeah, dude. What do you mean out of pocket, bro? They were trying to earn money for their programs. They're like, yeah, we selling. I remember they're like, oh, we selling pancakes every Friday with like sausage or bacon. They're like, they came in with fucking plates, and they're like, I think it was like $5 or something. That your teacher had to put it in order every Friday. It was only one day of the week. Yeah, they were like, hey, we want this amount for these students that are gonna pay. And then, yeah, they just roll up in their car, fucking dropping off the pancakes and whatnot.
hard.
I was like, that's hard, dude. Not many programs fucking do that shit, but those guys were on that too, making their own money, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like the reason I said like it could have been like out of pocket because I'm like it's child labor, but you're right. Like you're right. Like there's not, because those kids need to be self dependent at the end of the day. So if they learn how to earn their own money, también it's touching going.
It's hard.
I wasn't thinking about that shit that way. You know?
Yeah, they have it tough, but yeah, they always have great attitudes about everything, and yeah, they always seem to love what they were doing. So I was like, yeah, I always knew as far as I did, because since I worked at the cafeteria and I was making my own money already in high school as well. I was like, I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna buy stuff so I can eat, but at the same time, it's like, oh well, let's go into their program, and I'm sure they're making money as well. So And it was like,
Exactamente.
yeah, so just help
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah, pero dude, like it's crazy because I think about it. I think about it with and sorry, like after junior year, actually sophomore year was when I came out of my shell. After that, I had a fucking blast in high school. It's fucking sick. Like this is the last time I fucking felt free. You know,
Oh, okay.
that shit. Like, and it's such like when it's. I feel like when people say oh they peaked in high school.
Yeah.
I don't think they mean to. I don't think they're grabbing onto like what they accomplished. I think they're grabbing onto the fucking memories. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, because like what they accomplished, they know that was whatever. Maybe now they could be like, oh, like that happened, whatever happened. Pero like I had a blast in high school, and it's not the same for everybody. I thought it was the same for everybody. I was so ignorant, dude. I was so ignorant about like mental health issues that I thought it was like the same for everybody. That everybody had a fucking blast, and it took me so long to understand, especially like getting to like meet like once I met my wife, and I like, oh, I had a blast in high school. She's like, really? I fucking hated it. And that's when I realized, oh, like it's not the same for everybody, And I'm not gonna dive into her stuff, but yeah, like she's like, oh, mine was all right. She's like hanging out outside of high school with my friends was really cool. She's like, like school overall wasn't
Yeah.
that lit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, it was like the opposite. Even though I was in a fuck ton of programs at the time, because
Mm-hmm.
I did like culinary, video photography, and who knows what other fucking stuff I
Mm-hmm.
did in high school. But yeah, I was like, I remember high school wasn't even that memorable because at that time I was like the longest relationship I had been at the time, and we broke up,
Mm-hmm.
and then that fucked me up. And then on top of that, I had a injury on my lower back that I had to get surgery of, and that took, I think, junior year, that took me out the entire year. So by the time senior year hit, they pretty much got me in a meeting with I think my mom and my sister Abigail, and they pretty much said, it's like, hey, we understand he had an injury and surgery, but the reality is that he's not going to graduate. He just missed the whole year. It's like there's no bouncing back from that. So they're like, unless he's able to manage this amount of credits, within this year, like he's not going to graduate. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible. So
Mm-hmm.
um, literally after high school, I wanted to go into the video slash photography route because that's something I always wanted to do. It just never. It was just too much money. There was a school in LA, really good opportunity, but I think it was like $70,000-$80,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, coming out of high school, I was like, I don't have that fucking money. I don't want to be that much in debt. So I just
Mm-hmm.
went to work right away, which I found some work. I went to Bakersfield, so I was like trying to go the cheap route, try to get a house as fast as possible, and I started doing the what's it called, the graveyard work and on the pizca and whatnot, and honestly didn't work out for me as well because ya casi me chingaba todos los pinches de la raza que estaba ahí trabajando acá, los pinches viejillos cabrones, fuckers. Um, I thought it was gonna be like something that, okay, they're gonna help you out quick, and then you're just gonna get it, and boom, like you're set. But
Mm-hmm.
no, it's competitive. It's competitive, y a ver que ellos no te querían ayudar ni nada, ni cómo, en dónde están, ni cómo cortar o qué tanto pedo, y pues yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much just told me to go fuck myself, and so pretty much I didn't get it, and I wasn't any use because they didn't want to help me or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It was just competitive, very cutthroat. So I ended up leaving, coming back to Oceanside when I heard there was a job opening at a Target that they were opening up for the first
Mm-hmm.
time, and I decided to go there, and that's when I started really kicking off things there as far as work. And I met a very cool group of friends that to this day I still talk to a good amount of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like one of those jobs where it's like, oh, these are my coworkers. Like, no, these are like your actual
Exactly.
homies that day and day you see them, and like they once after work, like you're actually able to hang out with them, whether it's going to the house, making bonfires, doing all this crazy stuff, even to the point where we're showing up drunk as fuck to work, and no one bats an eye. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
So that was that, and then after the good while, once everything kind of ended, everybody went their separate ways. And that's kind of when I started getting some warehouse type of work through an agency, and I, lo and behold, it was during COVID era, so a lot of these jobs I was working for a bit, and then getting let go because of COVID, and then that's when you called saying that, hey, there's some stuff at a dealership. I don't know if you ever worked.
How do you like it? Te gusta? Huh?
Yeah.
Like it's not like the best job in the world, but you get to be out there and like you see a lot of shit, huh?
Yeah, and it's a lot of connections because it's like I get to meet a lot of very cool people throughout the day, and it's like something. It's like I'm not constantly having to be involved, I guess, within the business because it's not like where you guys heavily depending on making money. I'm just kind of the middleman. I'm just there to drop off parts and kind of report, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, I just can just listen to music while driving and
no, like fuck, dude. Like every little piece like of a business, fucking if it's not working right way, the whole business doesn't work. So the whole concept of the business doesn't work. It's almost like fuck, you get us out of fucking. Que se me olvidó ordenar una pinche parte. Fuck, get us out of. Get us out of trouble, dude.
Yeah, that's way. But see, I don't even think about it like that. They're like, oh, you guys are missing a part. They're like, hey, we need to send you fucking out like Temecula, wherever the fuck. I was like, all right, I'm gone. But like, I don't know when the fuck you'll see me back. I'm like, I'll go get it. I was like, I'll go get it.
Yeah. Well, that's how I was too when I was a parts driver. I was like, why? I was like, fuck yeah, Temecula. I'll be back in 2 hours. Say less.
Yeah, I don't think I go that out of pocket because I know there's some fucking. I think the previous parts driver before I got hired, you guys were saying that he was going to the beach and smoking. And I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know if I could do all that, but like.
He showed up with bloodshot eyes one time, but I thought he was gonna fucking kill me. They were like, "Hey, you okay?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Bro, you haven't blinked in like 5 minutes, dog. Are you okay? He was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, dude."
God damn.
No, mom.
Yeah, being like that, I think is a different level. But I don't think I could do all that shit.
Alright, dude. And you've told me already you've had some out of pocket jobs, so I had to go. I swear, man, you're always something like this with you, man.
Alright, so there's some two not so memorable / memorable jobs. The first one was working at a sex doll factory. What's not more like a studio, more like a sex doll studio, where they personalized sex dolls and they made them from scratch. Very advanced, very premium. I think they started like $12,000 and up, and they were very advanced to the point where like they had all kinds of premium features. I won't go too much into the details. I know it was like you could get like in terms of softness and stuff, and like so the major selling point was also like the face. You could design a doll to. If you had a picture of someone that you wanted the sex doll made out, let's say there's a girl you really like but you can't get, fucking get a picture of her, fucking they'll do the scanning and whatnot on the picture, and they'll make it out of her face and whatnot, so you could be fucking your very own crush or whatever.
Your crush.
Your crush.
The sex doll.
Fucking as a sex doll.
So,
yeah, I remember. I think my role in the company was just to set up the sex dolls, and they had other people like on the team. They had like makeup workers and shit like that. So very detailed, very advanced. They knew what they were doing. And when I asked them too, I was like, God damn it! People are like, I was like, I don't want to fucking sound because this is a job, but I was like, are people realistically buying fucking sex dolls? And he's like, COVID, my friend. Very good to us. So it was like very good to us. He was like, COVID. These dolls have been selling like fucking hotcakes. And they wanted to go even more into the fucking spectrum of it. So they were like, the fact that they were selling at least 12,000 and up on sex dolls, I was like,
extra heating pads on each side, please. Top and bottom too.
Fucking nut storage holder for every time you need to bust a nut in the doll and release and all that shit. So
call that a semen collector.
But that was one of them that I think was just memorable for the time I was there. And the second one working at a lube factory called Astroglide, and they were a lube company. Pretty much all of what I would do is just package the lube and just put them on pallets and packaging, put them on pallets and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very cool because they always came out with new lube products like massage oils and whatnot and different flavors of lube. So they had like strawberry, they had kiwi, they had watermelon, whatever the fuck. All these crazy ideas, but it sold out because, like I said, this was during COVID era. Everyone was trying to get freaky and stuff during COVID, and this shit was selling out like hotcakes. And the coolest thing about the job too was that we got a fuck ton of the products for free right during that era as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Uh, which we got like the most recent lubes and whatnot. And then as far as the conferences went, it was like we worked four days out of the week. So it was 4 days, 10 hours. So you work Monday through Thursday, 10 hours, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you would have off, which is what the Japanese do. And it's very cool. That's the kind of schedule I like personally because I'm like, look, you work a fuck ton, you work as hard as you can for those 10 hours through the 4 days, and then 3 days you're off. And then it gives you that time to yourself or whatever you want to do.
Family, if you have a family,
Yeah,
too.
and it's like it worked well. So obviously, COVID happened, and I got let go from that job, unfortunately. But for my time there, it was a lot of fun, and I definitely think to this day it's still one of my favorite jobs.
Dude, I'll take free lube.
Yeah, fuck, I'm saying I had fucking bottles of lube. Oh, I never ran out.
I know. Yo, no, I know you're a huge gamer. I know you're a huge gamer. Desde que te conozco, güey.
So cold, bro.
Desde que since I know you, bro. Since I know you, video games. Video games. Actually, matter of fact, I probably didn't even. I had a PSP, but I wasn't into video games that much. And luego te conocí, and that's when I was like, oh shit, this is actually really really fun. Y pues I got into it as well. Y pues how did you get into video games? Like, what was the biggest thing that made you get? I was like, you know what? I have a passion for this. I have a love for this. Like, I want to do this every day and get better every single day and be competitive.
I don't even know if competitive is the word. I know competitive gets thrown a lot loosely, and as far as my friends go, they always say I'm competitive. For me, I just tend to think that it's natural.
It's natural.
Like I'm having fun with it, even when it looks like. So when I started, and I'm pretty sure my dad could fact check this as well. When I started into gaming, I think I was like 5 years old. And it was all thanks to him and my mom that got me on the journey. Because obviously I'm little, but I can't afford a fucking console, much less all these games. So the first console I ever owned was the Nintendo 64. That's like fucking years ago. So at this point, I'm just a grandpa now.
Unk status.
Yeah, status, bro. Because they're like people are gonna be watching. What the fuck is a Nintendo 64? But I started pretty much with the classic, like Super Mario 64, GoldenEye. I think was my very first video game, and that was like the first thing that made me fall in love with gaming in general because it was just something that I was like, I thought I could pick up, and it's like I can play this, and it's like it doesn't bother me, and it's not something that's needed with a friend because like when we're little, we would play out with friends and whatnot, but it was like this is something that's like and when I was little, English wasn't my first language. It was Spanish. So I was a Spanish speaker when I came out the womb, whatever. So for me, once I started playing video games, all these games were in English, and I learned English through video games. So a lot of the video games back then had a lot of fucking text that I would read. And for me to perfect English, I would read a lot of the game manuals that would come with these games. I would study them like if it was my own fucking homework. And I just became involved with everything that I would touch as far as video games go. And pretty much throughout the years, I would carry all the consoles that I think I still have to this day, even up to the point where we're at, which is like the PlayStation 5 and the PC that I have.
Yeah.
As far as I went from Nintendo 64 to up till now, I think I still have a good majority of all the consoles that I owned when I was little.
Yeah, because you always talk about like video games like since you were little. You don't know way. Like I got into video games after middle school. After middle school, that's when I got into video games, and I my first console was an Xbox 360. Like my first like official like good console was like an Xbox 360. Okay, I would have like a PSP here and there, like here and there, or should I even had a Nintendo DS at one point. But it was never like something good. Because I got the Xbox 360, and then after that, I remember I got a little closer with you and Noel. You guys had the PS3, and then like got the I got the PS3, or actually you sold me my first PS3.
Right.
And then after my PS3, I got the PS4. Like we both had the PS4 for the longest time, and now
up to the PS5.
Yeah, up to the PS5, and that brings us to the other topic, Ray. Casado versus soltero, and I get fucking bashed on this for for everything, güey. No mames, güey. Like, oh, que ya no te dejaron. I'm like, no mames, güey, no pude. So my trunk broke down to my dog. I'm about to start crying right now, dude.
Oye, luego yo de soltero would be like, I could just go on a date, whatever, but majority of the time I'm just gonna fucking play games and shit. I was like with the homies, and like, yeah, I'm like, I already got my week plans. Like, yeah, Monday through Friday, probably play video games after work, whatever. Yeah, like weekend, maybe y'all go out on a date here and there. Yeah, you get back on it.
Yeah. No, pues estás viviendo la vida tranquilo, güey. Pero está chingón, güey. Like, there's nothing like getting away from reality. That's what I tell Allison.
Yeah.
The way I'm like, she's like, why do you like to play? I'm like, well, because I get away from reality for a little bit. Like, sometimes reality can be too harsh. You know, they're not harsh, but like fucking stupid. You don't deal with it.
Yeah. And a veces I like to think of it as it's not like, oh, it can be a hobby. I don't think it's any different from people watching TV series or movies. I'm like, video games have their own stories, and depending on what you play, like all these games have big ass stories, and they can go emotional, they can hype you the fuck up, or they could get you angry, depending on the ending. It's like, these games, there's a reason why majority of these games now get put millions and millions of dollars into development, because they put in a lot of fucking work. And it's practically like a digital movie, but you actually get to experience it firsthand, and you're playing through it. So you're not like, oh, what's gonna find out? No, you're behind the fucking controller. You're gonna find out what it's about. Like, you're the one that's gonna experience this.
Yeah, I think one of the like personally, right? I think one of the funniest or one of the funnest games that I've played with you, is fucking horror games. They're fucking when you jump and scream, I'm like, oh shit, you scared me more than the fucking game.
And the thing is,
that's just fucking hilarious.
I love that too. Like, for me, because I love horror movies as well, so I just love. For me, it's always part of the experience getting scared, and I've always had told that too. I remember when I first started my YouTube channel. I think the first series I did was on Outlast. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah,
and
I think I was there when you were
I
recording
think
some of the episodes.
So I recorded some of the episodes. I remember one of them was like, I think I could. Some people are like, we can't take you seriously, bro, because you just react to it so funny. It's like, we can't take you seriously, because I think there was a scene where there was a dude a monster chasing me, and he was butt ass naked, so you just see his fucking penis flopping around. And I'm like focusing on the cock. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you butt ass naked chasing me, bro? What the fuck? Like, hell? And whatnot. And I'm like, I guess I fucking, it takes a life of its own after that. When it comes to horror games and movies too, because I always find the stupidness in those situations. I always love to make light of it.
Yeah, and dude, what is like I know it's gonna be very hard if I let me I was gonna ask you, no te la quiero poner, like, you don't have to be very very specific, but I'm not gonna ask you which one's your favorite, but which one was the game that like you first got hooked into, if you can remember, that made you like fall in love with video games? That you were like, this is what I want. This is what I like.
Oh shit. I think the easiest answer would have to be GoldenEye. Yeah, GoldenEye on the
GoldenEye.
Nintendo 64. It's the first game I ever got introduced
Mm-hmm.
to. As far as my gaming journey, I remember that was my very first console, my very
Mm-hmm.
first game, and that was the game I spent hours because,
Mm-hmm.
like I've said, as far as movies go, my favorite movie series has always been James Bond. And
Uh-huh.
knowing that, growing up with the movies and knowing that was my first console, and I was able to play as James Bond, I was
Yeah.
like, that's fucking cool. I was like going
Mm-hmm.
through the story, pretty much going through what happened in the movie in video
Yeah.
game form, and it's like, if you look at it now, it's probably like it looks bad, but for me, I was like, this is fucking real as shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm James Bond, like shooting all these people, and yeah, that was the thing that kicked it off. After that, I fell in love with all the other series that I would touch: Mario, fucking Kingdom Hearts,
Mm-hmm.
the WWE series where they always made the wrestling games, FIFA's, NFL Streets,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it. That's pretty
Yeah.
much been the whole journey after that. But as far as what kicked it off, it definitely had to be GoldenEye.
Has to be the Golden Niner.
Yeah, cousins too. My dad would take me with my cousins. They were always into the biggest series that they were always into was the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi series, and
Uh-huh.
they were into PES. They weren't into FIFA.
Into Pez.
They were into
Pez was
PES.
huge in Mexico.
PES was fucking huge, and oh man, maybe I didn't like playing PES with them because fuck, I would get dominated. They'd be playing Barca or something like that, and I wasn't that far ahead in football knowledge, so
Uh-huh.
I was constantly getting cooked as far as PES went. But I just remember Tenkaichi. I was like, man, that was a different story. I was like, that one's like, all right, I would have played as Goku or whatever. And even if I got my ass whooped as a little kid, I was like, all right, well, I'm playing as my characters that I like.
Dude, and then the other cousin that I would go, because dude, my cousins in Mexico had more gaming consoles than I did, because like I wasn't. I'd rather be outside, when I was a kid.
Right.
Porque like we had very different childhoods. Like I grew up in Mexico for the most part, up until like middle school and high school. That's cuando pues
Mm-hmm.
más tuve más aquí, güey. Pero allá, like yo andaba afuera, güey, like every day, bro.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
it was we would play outside a good amount, but once I started getting a good amount of friends, I was like, for me, gaming was always a big thing. And if not, I was playing by myself. I would play outside with friends, or my mom always tells me the story. She's like, "You remember when you had your fucking Beyblades? Like, she bought me like a little stadium of Beyblades, and I had one that the lonchero would buy. I just buy like $5 fucking Beyblades from him,
Fucker.
and I just be. She's like, where like normal steps are.
Uh
She like you would sit down on one of the steps and like with your legs dangling on the little fucking hole, and you would just lay the fucking stadium on one of the steps while you're sitting on it, and you're just fucking like letting it rip. You're just playing fucking Beyblades by yourself. And
Yeah.
at one point, I was just playing by myself, and I got to meet a lot of the other kids. And once I started getting a big group, I was like, "Hey, how about you guys? How about we play some video games at my house? Like, share some of
Mm-hmm.
the shit I have." And at one point, our group started becoming too big, and I was like, "Hey, you can't be having this many kids at the house." And one day we're gonna get robbed, and lo and behold, she was right. So one day we got
No.
fucking robbed, and they took. I think they stole my PS3, and I think they stole some jewelry from my mom.
No.
And man, I was fucking sad. I was like, how could I? It was like I should have listened to her. I was just like, nah. I was like, I'm gonna share something that I love. I was like, I didn't think too much of it.
No mames.
Some of the kids got jealous. I'm assuming that's what happened. And
Yeah.
yeah, I remember I was beat the fuck out. I was like, I was just so sad. And my dad
Mm-hmm.
was like, he saw how sad I was, and he was like, "Hey, you know what? Like, don't worry, Mijo. Like, it's an innocent mistake." But he's like, "Now, like, be careful
Mm-hmm.
who you trust." And then that same night, he um, uh, comforted me. He went out. I think we went out to Esco. I think,
Mm-hmm.
and we went out to get a PS3 from like Craigslist. And the dude
Oh
was like super
shit.
chill when I met him. He was like, "Oh my god, I could tell you really love games." He's like, "I was only gonna tell your dad of one game, but he's like, I could tell you really take care of your games." And
Oh.
he was like, "Pick out like 3 or 4 games from this collection." I was
Uh-huh.
like, "That's fucking like, oh, that's awesome." I was
Sick.
like, for me, I was like, "That's awesome. You have so many games." I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
And he helped me build up my collection again.
Damn, that's fucking. That's fucked. Right? How you decided like be nice to all those kids and especially like growing up in a community pues donde pues, tantos morrillos pues no tienen lo que tú tienes, güey. You know, a lo mejor tú tenías like a lot more than them and
Yeah, I think that's what it was too. Y
la envidia.
a mí no me gustaba presumir. It wasn't like, oh, te voy a traer a mi casa para que te enseñe lo que tengo. I was like, no, yo quiero compartir lo que tengo para que juguemos todos juntos.
You want to play
Y
with
we
them.
can all go home happy. I was like, no, I
Yeah.
didn't think that. I was like, oh, I'm showing off. Like, come check what I have. I was like, no, I was like, I wanted to play together so that way you guys can feel the same joy that I had playing games.
That's how they took advantage of it.
Mhm.
Fuck. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes the villain in the story is right, bro. That seems like some shit that would happen to a villain who like fucking destroys the world at the end of the story, way. Sometimes, I was watching the Marvel movie, I'm like, oh, fucking pinche Thanos, tiene razón. A ver.
Oh yeah, I was like, maybe he was right. He should have fucking went after these fucking idiots.
Sí, güey. Fuck. Nah, pues yo de morrillo, pues no, a mí, honestly, no sé si, no es porque no querían or because they couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they couldn't do it or because they just didn't want to, but I think it's mostly because they couldn't.
Yeah.
And my parents never bought me any video games. And I would never really ask for them too much. I don't know if it's because I knew they couldn't buy it or what, but up until like middle school, that's why I would always work with.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to buy a game to play with you guys. You know, like the latest FIFA and the latest shit.
Right.
I always go to Walgreens, buy fucking PlayStation cards, güey, con los pinches $20 que me ganaba landscaping over the weekend, you know? So I could fucking play with you guys. Y like, no sé, güey, like, I think about that shit and I'm like, now to just leave it de casado, like, because a veces, because honestly, like getting on a personal level, sí puede ocasionar problemas en la casa, güey. Like, ya cuando estás casado and you prioritize video games, like, if you're on it too much, let go of your responsibilities. If you're a bum ass nigga, if you let go of your shit, then it's not right. You know, but if you have all your shit straight, play with your homies once in a while and everything, like there's no reason to stop playing them. And that just goes out to all the married men out there. If your wife tells you not to play video games, she doesn't love you. Divorce her.
I can't say.
All right, Julian. And with this, you're gonna have to educate me, bro. Porque yo no sé. I know the very basics about wrestling. I know the very like the most known wrestlers probably like Batista, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, of course. I didn't watch too much of Eddie Guerrero, but I do know of him and his story because of Rey Mysterio. Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Brothers, XD, you know. It's XD.
DX, bro.
Oh, the DX, güey. No mames, también. No mames. I'm telling you, you're gonna have to educate me, güey. Estoy bien, güey. Like, I don't watch it anymore. I try to, pero pues, se me olvidó, güey. Ya todo, honestly.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people you knew probably aren't there anymore. Minus Randy Orton, John Cena.
John Cena.
Everybody else retired. Edge is in another company.
Oh, man.
So he's not even there anymore. But you know, that's a whole spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole thing, bro. But originally, when I grew up with wrestling, you know, the NXT logo, if you guys have seen it, it's like it wasn't even there when you guys were watching it. It started like 2012, 20, like somewhere around there. And originally started as like a game show for rookies to get contracts kind of thing. And then it slowly built itself to become a third brand. So obviously you had like Raw and SmackDown, and then the third brand back then was ECW, but now it's like Raw, SmackDown, and NXT because of the amount of talent. So majority when NXT was created, it was built up for the next generation. And as far as the next generation go, they would get them from other wrestling companies. So for wrestling fans that just didn't watch WWE, but they saw other wrestling companies, they would see all these amazing talents as far as the wrestling world goes. And then when they would get called up to NXT, that's kind of when they started getting I like to think of it. It's no different than seeing any other. If you were into other sports, it's no different than seeing any other league. Whether if you're a football fan, seeing Serie A, La Liga, it's literally no different. Because like, if you're in touch with the product, then it's not hard to miss. If you're just a casual viewer, then obviously you're gonna miss some stuff here and there. But you're gonna fall quick to catch on to what they do.
Yeah, so I'm a big football fan. Soccer. We call soccer football. Right between like him and I, and some of my like other homies, like we also call it football. Um, so from what you told me, in a football perspective, NXT is like the academy.
Yeah.
WWE is like the number 11 team that you want to make it onto.
It's considered their developmental brand.
Yeah. Okay.
But they tend to get here and there like people that are like should be in WWE. They just haven't gotten signed.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, yeah, it's meant for the future, but before, like in the last couple of years, it was meant for like, oh, there's like people that should be in WWE, but they weren't signed yet, so that's why they put them in there. Now it's fully developmental.
Okay.
So now it's fully rookies and building up the future for WWE. So this is strictly now the academy.
Yeah, because you have been into wrestling since I know you. Since I know, when we met, I wasn't really like I know the same amount of information, but I have the same amount of knowledge about wrestling as like right now as I did when I met you. Like I don't know more, I don't know less. Like maybe less porque ya no me acuerdo. Porque but that's it's something that you've always been into. Like where does you? I know you've been into football like lately. I know you've always gone for Pumas. Siempre ha sido el Pumas, güey. Siempre. Una vez te regalé una playa del Swap Me, güey. De Pumas, güey.
When I recently moved, that's when I lost my jersey somehow. So I was a bit devastated, but yeah, I always remember getting that fucking jersey. I was like so hyped. But yeah, recently when I moved, I was like, hey, where's my jersey? I don't see it. And it's like, no one has it. So it somehow disappeared.
Se robó tu camarada Luis,
Someone must have fucking stole it or something. But yeah, but Pumas has definitely been like my favorite team as far it's getting into Mexican football. That was the team that got me, and I think Hugo Sanchez had to be one of the biggest people that got me into that got me into Mexican football.
Yeah, but like how did your passion grow for football? Because like, were you into football before wrestling, or which one came first, basically? Like
so originally wrestling came first, with obviously the main one being WWE. That was the main one. Growing up with like, obviously people might not like this answer because it's very controversial, but Chris Benoit was originally the one that kind of really made me fall in love with wrestling, and with my favorite WrestleMania being 20 when he won the world title, and like him and Eddie hugging and celebrating. That was like kind of the peak moment. But it also helped me branch out to other promotions outside of WWE, because when you think about wrestling, only everybody thinks of WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody really thinks like, oh, maybe there's other wrestling promotions outside WWE. That's when I would go out to watch more extreme violent wrestling like CCW and stuff like that. But then I branched out when I would see this dude named Hiroshi Tanahashi, which was a Japanese champion at the time, wrestling for a company called New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then that's kind of when I branched out to Japanese wrestling, because what I love about them, at least from what I watched, was that it's not like them in WWE where it's like, now you can kind of tell it's kind of choreographed. Los japoneses se echaban en la madre, just like los luchadores from Mexico. Se parten la madre, and you can tell it's like they're trying to fucking kill each other, and that's like, and it was very intense combat, and I was like, this is awesome, and like just the stories and the wrestlers, I thought, oh, these guys are even crazier than the ones in WWE. It's like these guys could give them a run for their money and whatnot, and it just kind of spiraled into out of control into other promotions. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. Football, I think, was a different story, because I started off watching the games, watching La Selección and whatnot, and obviously Pumas wasn't my favorite team yet. It wasn't until I started with my first team that got me into football, which was Arsenal, and there was a network on my TV that played the Arsenal matches and whatnot, and I think it was during the Invincible season where it was like Thierry Henry, and like they never lost a match during that whole season, and they won the Premier League title, and after that, I was like, dude, this guy is amazing, and like I just love the kits, everything from the kits to how he played specifically. Like he was the main reason why I got into Arsenal, and like the main reason why I got into football. It wasn't until I started seeing the selección and whatnot, and I just kind of fell in love with Pumas, and one of the ones we'll touch upon later was with Jared Borghetti, that we eventually got to meet later on. Yeah, that's kind of what kickstarted my love for football, and like even within the last couple of years, I've been keeping up again. Football just been
Yeah.
not a great time.
No, pero sí, güey. Pero el equipo de mis amores es el León. Like if you, I like football. I like football because of the game, right? I love the game.
Yeah.
Like I love to play it, and I just love the game. I love it because fuck, dude, like 35,000 grown men crying at one place, like, Crystal Palace. Did you see how many people fucking cried in that stadium, dude? All like strangers hugging each other, dude. Football has brought the world together in World War. Is it World War One or World War Two? I mean, I don't know anything about history, but I do know this. And also, I don't know. There was a civil war going on in somewhere in South America, and they stopped the civil war because Pelé was going to play, dude, back in the early days, and that's why I love the game. And the only team that I love is Leon, right? But I do like to watch European football because it's just fucking natural. Like you can't compare it to La Liga MX. I love Leon because that's where my family's from.
Yeah.
But you can't compare the just the natural football that they have over there. Like you were saying, like of uh, Henry, just the way that he would dance with defenders with it. Yeah. And then he played against some of the best defenders in the world, like the defenders in Italy at the time, because he played I think in the Champions League against them when they were in their prime too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he won also Champions League with Barca too.
Yeah, he from after, if I'm not mistaken, after Arsenal, he went to Barca, right?
Yeah, he went to Barca.
Yeah.
And he also helped win the World Cup with France.
Oh, he won the World Cup with France.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that. That's a fact I didn't know, dude.
Yeah, he helped. So he has a World Cup win. I don't think for me that matters too much because it's like it's just part of his history, and like it's something that can never be taken away from him because of the player he was, and like Yeah. For me, I wish he would have stayed at Arsenal, but like he made an impact in Barca, and even in the other team he went when he went to the MLS, and he went for the Red Bull.
New York Red Bulls.
New York Red Bulls, yeah. So he kind of made his impact there. That's kind of where he retired. But I was like, I can't knock a person for like the legacy they left, especially as a strong one like Thierry Henry. But he's the one that got me into it.
Yeah, from what I've heard, is the reason that he had to kind of like leave Arsenal, or not Arsenal, but like European football overall, was because of like just the pain that he was in. He said he could, like, his Achilles, he couldn't stand to like even walk anymore.
I would have had it.
Probably like the.
I even imagine I was like, and I always go back to it too. The Invincible season. I was like, to win the Premier League title without losing a single game. That's insane. I'm like, I was like, so I can only imagine as well the kind of injuries he must have racked up and whatnot.
Technical difficulty. So you would say that Henry is the one athlete that you look up to and respect with utmost respect.
Every sport, whether you think it's fake or real, whatever the case is, it's like all these athletes, they put in a lot of time and effort, but there's some people that go far above than most. And for me, as far as Arsenal went, Thierry Henry was the one that did that, and in WWE, I think Chris Benoit did that too because he put his like body and like he fucked himself up, big time. Like he could go back through the whole thing about like even just his wrestling career in general. Like, he always like got fucked up from the head. Like he always took the nastiest chair shots, always did the nastiest headbutts, and like eventually got bad fucking CTE. You know. And you know the worst thing he did is kill his fucking family, which is
he killed his family.
Yeah, he killed like his wife and his son, and that's why he's kind of not talked about. And I'm like they kind of erased him from history, but not Eddie, obviously, because they were best friends. But like no one talks about him anymore, and it's like I get it, but at the same time, it's like look, you still can't take away, you know, besides all the fucked up shit, is like you can't take away all the hard work and dedication he put through. For the company and everybody to keep everyone entertained. Like who else is gonna say I'll fucking take all these shots to the head for fucking years? Just to entertain people, you know.
That was the next one, right?
Yeah.
So like I mean, it's just it's their passion. They have a love for it. They want to look good up there. They want to be an example for the kids. I mean, that's why they do it. Yeah. Oh man, but inflation, bro. I know I said I wasn't gonna say that. Fucking A.
Inflation.
See, why now, dude? Why now?
What the fuck you mean? Why now?
Why now? Like, so why now that we're adults and paying bills? Why couldn't this shit happen fucking 30 years ago? I mean, it did happen in 08.
I think it just happens more now.
Fuck, dude. It's just.
I think it just happens more now. But yeah, fucking.
It's ridiculous.
Every year, I think when it should go up maybe a tad bit, they're like, nah, how about like fucking put a bunch more of like, have you fucker struggle? Now it's like, at least where we're at, it's like almost you have to, like, if you're not making really good money within your first job, you're probably going to need 2 jobs to make it through.
At least here in California, if you make $100,000 a year, that ain't shit. That ain't shit. If you're making $100,000 a year, you can afford a house, but that's $100,000 a year. It's about $7,000, a little under $7,000 a month. And I'm talking about taking home $100,000. Like that's after taxes.
Yeah.
That shit that's expensive because like a mortgage payment is like, from what I've heard, right? I haven't done my research. I might be wrong, but from what people have told me, they're $4,000 to $5,000 right now. And honestly, dude, and on top of that, property tax.
Man, even I think 2,000 is like already too much, bro. Like fuck, 5,000.
And every 6 months, property tax, dude.
Yeah,
it's a certain percentage of what the property is worth at the time.
Yeah, fuck that.
Not even like so the property value goes up.
At this point, just give me a fucking Amazon home, bro. I'll just get a fucking trailer, foldable trailer shit. I'll just fucking do that myself.
A fucking sleeping bag, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, fuck. I see those Amazon homes. They're like, it's like a little fucking box thing, but it has like the room, bathroom shit. You just have to get the plumbing and whatnot. I was like, bro, I think they're just give me one of those fucking.
And honestly, I just want the IRS to know that I'm not paying them shit.
What he meant to say is that he is gonna pay
more money, more problems.
What he meant to say is that he is gonna pay it, and he's gonna pay it on time.
They're not getting shit, dude. Look, have you seen?
You can't say that. You can't say that.
It's a free country, dude.
Dude, fine, bro. They're gonna go after you,
dude. So, like, have you seen I just watched the video not so long ago, and I think I've already brought it up to you. It's the guy that had a shopping list at Walmart from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Versus now, and it was like now it's like $400. 2 years ago it was $200. Sí, güey, pero y luego pues aquí la renta, güey. Honestly, everywhere I've been in, ever since we moved back here to San Diego, I've lived in 2 apartments. Allison and I, my wife and I, just us and the dogs, in apartments, right? And both apartments, every single fucking lease renewal, rent goes up, and I'm like, bro, when does it stop? Like I just fucking got here a year ago. I'm just getting into the groove of things. Ya me van a subir la renta, hijos de su pinche madre. Pero sí, güey. And then, what about gym goals? Do you have any future gym goals? I know that you lost a lot of weight. You've lost a lot of weight, and like you got in really good shape. And are you gonna continue to do that or?
Yeah, so within the last 2 years, I went kind of on the gym journey type thing, and I think I told you it was like something I was sick for like a good amount of time, and I was like, dude, this just can't keep happening. I can't keep getting sick. So I would go to the doctor, and they didn't even know what was wrong with me,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, I just figured it was like maybe it's time for me to go to the gym, and luckily in my apartment there was one. I just kind of did solo stuff to the point where I think I lost over 100 pounds, and
Mm-hmm.
I was good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And now, obviously, since I moved within early in the year, I just
Mm-hmm.
haven't found the groove to get a gym till now, because now I'm fucking
Yeah.
finally stable enough
Yeah.
to do things again. Now I'm like, all right, now I can finally pick up on it, and yeah, I'm planning to this year to finally get back on it, and hopefully by the end of the year I can make get back to where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, once you take some time off, and then you notice, even like if you're doing something simple like picking stuff up, running, walking, I was like, you could tell such a drastic difference.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird. I still don't think I found that groove yet, but I'm like, oh man, yeah, I'm just ready to get back into it.
Especially after you move, dude. Moving is fucking stressful. Like I said, I've had to move a total of 4 times from when I moved to LA, moving back, moving from that apartment to this apartment. I know 3 times. And just moving alone is a pain in the ass, and getting, even if it's not that far away, getting used to your new environment. It's a whole new city, so it's gonna have a whole new vibe to it.
Right.
Escondido versus Vista, like it's completely different. Even the weather's different.
Yeah.
Right. And it's only what, 20 minutes away.
Yeah, not
Tops.
that. But even then, it's like, yeah, you already have your, you know, and for me, it's like I don't like making excuses. Obviously, for me, even right now, just so it's like, dude, you're making an excuse, and it's like, it's really not, because I'm like, you do, like, obviously you have work, and then as far as projects go, I'm just working on a ton of projects right now. That's just kind of like, I haven't found the time, and part of it maybe may be financial. It's like, because when I lived at the apartments, it was like I was covering my rent. Yeah, it was included.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I have to look for a gym right now. So
yeah. Can you believe he doesn't want to go with me just because I told everybody at work that we showered after the gym together? Wait, we didn't talk even about honey packs, bro. No mames,
fuck honey packs.
Alright, next time I'll take 2, dude. Alright, taking 1 makes nada already. I still got it in fucking 3 minutes,
dude. You need 2 honey packs, bro.
30 seconds, bro. Oh, mames. Ahora, las queridas madres, güey. We're both male. We're both males in a traditional Mexican household. Mine was, yours was a little bit more modern. Your mom would always like, soy una mamá moderna. I remember her saying that all the time. And I was like, fuck yeah, take us to rated R movies. so no mames. So like I remember that like if it was like if it were yesterday, right? Those are very son unas memorias muy bonitas, güey, from my childhood que nobody knows because my mom was in Mexico, my sister was also over there, and my dad was working. Y yo pues me quedaba solo en la casa, y pues sometimes I would fucking even go running to your house.
Yeah.
I would pull up walking or running or
right.
Como fuera, güey. Y tu mamá pues nos sacaba, güey, on her day off. It's very nice of her to, like, her only day off, porque siempre trabajando, güey, tu mamá. All the time, bro. Mis respetos. 2 trabajos siempre, güey.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Honestly, like, that's why I never really say anything bad about your mom. Cause I was like, fuck, dude. I can barely handle 1 job, dude.
Yeah.
2 trabajos, güey. Y luego, aparte, her only day off, sacarnos. Fuck, bien enfadosos los 3, grite, dude.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, so once my parents divorced, then it's when she started working two jobs, and she was doing. It wasn't just like part time. So she was doing both jobs full time, so 40 hours, 40 plus hours a week for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, was she was still if she could take us the majority of the time, we just walk to school because we're like, look, if you can get to work on time. It was like, well, we're not gonna get you in trouble. Like we'll just walk to school. But yeah, majority of our times off, whenever she could, it's like yeah, she'd always do stuff with us and the group in general because she was like yeah, like be like maybe like bring us food. Like majority of the times we were always at home. She'd call us. She's like, hey, are all you guys hungry? Like you guys want me to bring you anything?
Dude, esa es la única vez que comí McDonald's yo, porque a mí no me compraron McDonald's, güey. Estaba gordito yo, pero de pinche tragón en la casa que me hacían, güey. Right? Pero yo de McDonald's and stuff like that, a mí no me compraban. Y entonces, haz de cuenta, pues cada que iba a tu casa, that's when I would eat McDonald's, pero casi no compraba. So I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
You know? Fuck, ¿tu mamá nunca te pegó, güey? Your mom never hit you, or
No.
de chiquito, güey, de chiquito.
Oh, de chiquito,
¿No?
No, lo menos que lo merecía, ya. No,
Ya, pero ahora de grande, ¿sí te ha pegado más? ¿O?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
No, pero like,
ya no
me que te acuerdes, güey.
Una de las más grandes,
Yeah.
creo que era cuando. No me recuerdo de qué estábamos peleando. Estábamos discutiendo y luego me recuerdo que tenía un pinche badass tennis racket, metal one de Wilson.
No, why, dude?
I don't fucking remember. I just remember she grabbed that shit from me. He fucking whack. Putiza with the Wilson tennis racket. I was like, I never want to play tennis ever again. I get PTSD from that shit.
No.
Like, yeah. No, pero casi mi vieja nunca me pegaba, nomás.
No.
Como te digo, ella tiene su maña en cómo regañarme y a huevo no me gusta. So cuando ella tiene una mirada que siempre me da y luego ya es cuando digo, oh, ya, ahora sí, ya no.
Ya le voy bajando.
Ya le voy bajando, ya. Pero, yeah, ahí, como, me and her, we always fuck around. She's like not only my mom, but as far as like when we had each other, it was like more of a friendship between the both of us. Like we'd always fuck around, cuss each other out and whatnot. And every time friends would see that, they would be like, oye, si ni hasta mi mamá yo le hablo así, ella me habla así, o yo le hablo así también, como se llevan ustedes. Me van a dar unos pinches putazos, ¿qué? ¿Cómo te hablas de tu mamá? Y like, no, pues así nos llevamos, like, she's my fucking mom, man. I don't call her mom, I call her my vieja.
Tu vieja.
Y luego dice, pinche vieja, la pinche vieja, ¿dónde andas? Y dicen, ¿es tu novia? Like, no, my fucking mom, bitch. My fucking back off. Yeah, so yeah, it was like my mom's just she's a different breed, but yeah, I love her. We always have a good relationship, even if we're always fucking around.
That's badass, güey. No, a mí, mi mamá, güey, a mí sí me ponía unas putizas, bro. A mí me arrancó los oídos así, güey. Pero yo también, I was a little shit running away from kindergarten, dude. So, like, I think it might have been separation anxiety now that I think about it. Pero pues mis papás, ¿qué van a saber, güey? Like, okay. Y mis papás en el rancho, güey, like, you're gonna think I'm being a bad kid. So, like, mis papás no, I feel like they didn't process that. Like, they were dealing with, they're new in this country. They're also living life for the first time. So I don't blame them for fucking beating the fuck out of me when I was being a little shit, I deserved it probably. I probably would have beat the fuck out of myself too. Pero no, sí, una vez también con una pinche cuchara de like the big metal ones aquí, de caldo, güey. Se me hinchó así. ¿Y qué más, güey? I think those are the only two, tres, no creo que hubo una tercera. No creo que hubo una tercera putiza, pero like, sí mi mamá se me dieron mis buenos putazos, güey. Y luego this goes to like how they treat, I don't know if it would happen to you, but how they treat las mujeres contra how they treat us. A mí, güey, mi mamá me lavaba todo, güey. ¿A ti? I don't know.
Yeah, mi vieja pues hasta la también, like, pues,
mi hermana
since I grew up with women,
yeah,
it's like, they always did. They made me food. Y pues siempre that's why I kind of wanted to take culinary high school because I was like, they always did stuff for me. So I was like, I don't know how to do anything. So I just wanted to start learning for myself. Pero compared to how I was treated from Abby, I think it was night and day. Um, para mí, si me quería ir a una casa de una amiga a dormir a su casa, ella me dejaba, dijo, nomás be safe, make sure you're calling me whenever you're going out, like, so I know where you are.
Yeah.
If Abby wanted to do it, no, ni más,
Dude,
estás tú loca, ¿cómo te vas a ir? Estás loca, tú, ¿cómo te vas a ir a dormir a casa de amigo o amiga? I'm like, fuck no, y a mí, it's kind of, there's always like a skit that we always love seeing. It's like from Super Ego where there's like a daughter and son going out, and the dad's like, oh, okay, dad, I'm going out. I was like, ¿a dónde vas? Ah, con las putas. And the dad's like, ah, me traes una, en alguna. And then the daughter does the same thing. Ah, bye, dad, I'm going to studies. No, que pinche study session. Like, but you just let Jorge go. I'm like, no, he's gonna go get beaches. Oh, that's fucking bullshit. It's just fucking going back in the house. We're like, no, es que esa es mamá.
Oh,
like, cabrona. He's like, what la calle, what's that puta?
No.
Like, esa boca. ¿Qué te vas a ir de pinche culo caliente? Yeah, so for me and my sister Abby, it was night and day. I was like, I was able to have that kind of freedom, but for Abby, it was just.
No, y también de limpiar en la casa, güey. No, no te pasaba a ti que tú podías pasar, vivir en un pinche chiquero. Like, you could live in a fucking mess and not clean. Y tu mamá will see you, but your sister, she couldn't have a mess porque, ponte a limpiar, mira cómo tienes. ¿Verdad que sí, güey? Y así era también con mi hermana. Yo no limpié, güey. I don't remember. And that's something that affected, well, not really like affected my marriage in a very negative way, but I just had to like make a switch. You know, like yo fui de que me le hicieran todo, me empacaran. Mi mamá me empacaba lonche para ir al trabajo, güey, cuando no estaba casado, bro. So like, I'm a mama's boy. I'm gonna say it straight up. Like, I'm a mama's boy. Y pues to kind of like learn that, you know, my wife works her ass off. She fucking went and washed cars with me. Y pues yo le quiero ayudar a ella también, you know? And I didn't realize that. And I wish I could have realized that when I was living with my parents too. Like, oh, I could have been more self-dependent. Could have packed myself lunch more often. I didn't need my mom to be packing me lunch because she was also fucking tired. You know, that's something that I didn't think about. It's something that I had to change because, and it's because of the difference that they treat their daughters versus how they treat their sons. Yeah. It's una pinche diferencia.
Pero at the end of the day, yo no me quejo a la verga because I'm the favorite. Hasta I even told my vieja. I was like, vieja.
That's right,
I was like, you already know I'm the favorite. Y luego le digo hasta un pinche cuadrote que we're gonna have. Like, I'm gonna be looking like this. She's gonna be behind me. And we're gonna be like, all pose and shit. I was like, where's Abby? Fuck Abby. This is a fat ass one of me. Yeah, like,
no, Abby. Oh, shit, dog. I know. Well, we are approaching the end of our conversation, Julian. I know you have a lot of projects going on, a lot of very interesting projects. My wife is a fan of your Dreamer to Destino podcast. She's been asking when you're going to upload your next episode, by the way.
Yeah, so, all right, we'll go ahead and talk to the projects. My most recent one is my Dreamer to Destino podcast project that's available on Spotify and YouTube if you guys want to check it out. Kind of started more as a passion project. Originally, it was just going to be this. I love always talking about this project because one of the ones that blew up and it's near and dear to my heart. Originally, it was just going to be a podcast based on dreamers and kind of telling their stories because originally I am a dreamer as well. And with all the shit that's going on right now, I kind of felt we needed some kind of representation kind of stuff and hear people say their stories. But from the first episode, it kind of spiraled to many people wanting to be a part of the project, and it just kind of spiraled into a whole life of its own, which I thought was awesome. And many people have been aspiring to be a part of the project, and it's been consistent. Like we just reached the 1-year anniversary earlier in the year, and we haven't done much since then. Right now, we're currently gearing for the way we're gonna plan is a second season, and right now we have a big name that's gonna be there for the very first time.
Okay.
That we're working closely, and we're just trying to get all the details and make sure it's all flowing smoothly for the return of Dreamer to Destino. But it's definitely a very personal favorite project of mine.
Mhm.
And then, as well as you can see, I also have a YouTube channel that's pretty much been there since high school.
It has. It has.
It's kind of embarrassing for me, but it was just like literally gaming videos. So if you guys ever want to check some old stuff or even some current, maybe I do stuff here and there on that YouTube channel, so you guys can check it out. MX Wolverine, and then
Hold on, let me interrupt you because you're not giving yourself enough credit. Even your YouTube shorts lately have been popping, dude. You know, so one of them recently kind of blew up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, check it out, guys. I'll put all the links at the bottom, dude.
Yeah, I don't like to say it's blowing up just because it's like I'm sharing my love of these games and kind of sharing it, just hoping. I know they do gain some traction. There was a series I did based off the old Call of Duty, Black Ops 1, which was my first Call of Duty, and I kind of did it, I think, last year for 2024. Like, how does this game hold up in 2024? I just remember seeing all the comments of people. It's like, this brings me back memories. They're like, I'm really happy you showcased this because it's like, oh, it's like, and I'm like, no, I'm just showing, I grew up with this game as well. So I was like, I just wanted to see how you guys all feel about it as well. It's like, it's been, years since that game came out. It's one of those games that, stuck with me. So for me, it's just kind of showing my love for gaming and connecting with other people because I definitely have met some incredible people through this YouTube channel. And I kind of hope that, it's something that I can leave behind. It's like people that I love games. So it's like they'll be able to check out and see like, hey, I'm all about that game too. It's something that people can talk about.
Yeah, it's a passion that you always had. So why leave it behind?
Right.
Especially if people are enjoying it. Well, why leave it behind now?
Yeah, exactly.
And also photography. You've always enjoyed photography.
Yeah.
I didn't know about MX Productions.
So MX Productions, I started during pretty much the COVID era. It's when I got my first professional camera, which is Canon 80D, and then I started doing photography. I originally, my thing was always working as part of a big video company, but a lot of people at that time just wanted straight up photography, so I kind of had a pivot.
MX Productions, I know that I mean, you said you've told me before you started this around the COVID era, right? And how's that going?
That one's pretty good. It's so originally, like I said, I wanted to start something that was more into when I wanted to work into the video production side. I wanted to work for a major company or something, work on movies, some show, or even wrestling, be behind the scenes. But I originally started MX Productions just to kind of get my resume built up, and portfolio. It got me like a good amount of side jobs, and I got to work with many awesome people as far as photo shoots, because during the COVID era when I started it, no one really wanted any video stuff. It was just straight up photography that they were looking for. So I kind of had to adapt and do my way of photography or learning it from the ground up, which I kind of took my lessons from, learning everything I could. And it worked off well, and right now I'm gearing up to building a team for MX Productions. So I'm hoping that within probably the next year or two, I'll have assembled, and we're able to bring much bigger things to MX Productions and build up the name.
Yeah, well, ever since I can remember, you've always been trying to get you always talked about getting a camera.
Yeah.
Ever since I can remember, and it's always been content creation and just anything that has to do with video editing or editing overall has always been one of your strong suits. And I feel like if you continue to stick to it, it can lead to bigger things. Like I said, my wife is a huge fan of your Dreamer to Destino podcast, and I also want to thank you for taking the time of your day to coming through, bro.
No, thank you.
Y pues muchas gracias, güey. Muchas gracias, güey. Muchas gracias, güey.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming. We'll wrap this up, and I'll put all his links up in the description below. And thank you, everybody.